2018 has turned out to be one of the best years when it comes to producing some of the best ultra portables in the market. And Asus wants to get in on the act. Now, I've reviewed a lot of great ultra portables as of late. The Huawei MateBook X Pro, one of my favorites of 2018. The Dell XPS 13 9370 is a classic in my book. And they also reviewed the Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Carbon 6th Gen, one of my favorites as well. So I wanted to check out what Asus had to offer in this category. So I got a hold of the Asus ZenBook S UX391UA. It's a lot to say, but I think it really is a nice offering in this ultra portable category. Hey everybody, it's Andrew, and this is my unboxing and review of the Asus ZenBook S UX391UA. Coming up. Like what you see? Want to see more videos like this? Well, why not hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit that notification icon? This way you'll be alerted every time I post a new video. And make sure you follow me on all my social media, especially Twitter, because that's where I post all the latest updates. Now, because it has a ridiculously long name, I'm never going to remember what it is, so let's just call it the ZenBook S and get on with it. Now let's find out what you get in the box. Let's open this sucker up. Now, packaging is premium. I expect nothing less at this price point, but I like the fact that they include a carrying case or a sleeve in the box. They've done that before, and I think it's a really nice touch. More manufacturers at this price point should do the same. You get a fairly compact 65-watt AC adapter. It uses USB-C to charge this device. You get a USB-A to USB-C adapter, as well as an HDMI to USB-C adapter. It's nice to include this in the box. Now, no attention to detail was ignored. As you can see, when you open the lid of the laptop box, it raises to greet you and the laptop is presented to you. I think that's a really nice touch and really gives you a nice unboxing experience. You get some documentation and warranty information as well, and rounding it out is a cleaning cloth, which you'll need because this is a major fingerprint magnet. Now, holding the unit for the first time, one thing you're going to notice is really shiny, really high-end, again, a major fingerprint magnet, but it looks really premium. And I like the blue with the gold accents. It's a really nice, elegant look. Now, when it comes to the ports, it's a little bit limited. Let's get into that now. Now, on the left side, you get a first generation USB-C 3.1. And on the right side, you get two Thunderbolt 3 ports that support 4 lanes. So if you want to connect an external GPU, you can. And all 3 USB-C ports can do data, charge, and display out. And finally, you get a 3.5mm headset jack. It worked well when I connected my wired headphones, no interference and no static. Unfortunately, no SD card or micro SD card, which is a bit of a disappointment. Now, before we get on to the specs, I want to thank today's sponsor, Zero9, who is giving us a 22% discount code if you want to get Windows 10 Pro upgrade. It's a great, fantastic deal. Check it out. Now, the original price is $15.99 for the Windows 10 Professional OEM key, already a fantastic price. But with my 22% discount code, that drops to $12.47, making it an absolute steal. And not only do they sell Windows 10 Professional OEM keys, but they have Steam CD keys as well for PC and Mac. You have PlayStation Network, Xbox Live, and Nintendo as well, as far as prepaid cards as well. Need Microsoft Office? Well, they have that too. $32.99. And even better, they've also given a 10% site-wide discount code if you use the code Andrew-M. So head on over to Zero9 to get this really great discounts, and I want to thank Zero9 for sponsoring today's video. Now, you can get the ZenBook S with a full HD display or with a UHD 4K display. That's the one I went with. It comes in at $14.49 over at Amazon, and to me, that's a great deal because I think you get a lot for your money. Now, the unit I have has the Core i7-8550U processor. It has 16 GB of DDR3 RAM, and it has 512 GB of PCIe NVMe SSD storage. It has a gorgeous 13.3-inch UHD 4K display with a resolution of 3840 by 2160, that's 331 pixels per inch, and it has a 16:9 aspect ratio, making it great for consuming media. Watching Netflix, YouTube, and the like is excellent on this device. Now, it's also a bright display at 335 nits, and here's how it stacks up against its competition when it comes to display brightness. It's definitely above average, but not quite as bright as the category leaders, the MateBook X Pro, the MacBook Pro 13-inch, and the Dell XPS 13-9370. You get some really deep blacks, some very vibrant colors, and it covers the color gamut really well. With 116% sRGB, that's a bit above average, again not quite as good as the Dell XPS 13-9370, the category leader, but good nonetheless. Now it has pretty thin bezels, although not thinner than the Dell XPS 13's Infinity Edge display, which has virtually no bezels. This is a little bit thicker, but they were able to put a webcam on the display in a proper position, something the XPS 13 couldn't do. This really is an excellent display, certainly one of the strongest suits on this Ultraportable. I'm very impressed with it. And another added bonus with this laptop is the fact that it has pen support. It uses the N-Trig pen technology, the same as the Surface Pen, which you see here. I'm using the original Surface Pen with this. Worked fine, no problems as far as taking notes or sketching out artwork. I was impressed, but Asus does offer their own pen. I'm just using it with my Surface Pen here. But you will notice a little bit of screen wobble when you use the pen on this device, just something to keep in mind. Now, one of the big selling features of this laptop is something called the ErgoLift hinge, and Asus is touting this as a great way to get not only a great typing angle, but also good airflow to help with thermals, although thermals in this device are not that great. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Now, it doesn't have great key travel at only 0.9 millimeters, but they are comfortable keys to type on for extended periods of time, and that elevated typing angle certainly does help. I'm a big fan of this keyboard, especially with its tactile feedback. I'm not a big fan of the placement of the power button just above the backspace key. And it has a multi-stage backlight, the keys light up in white, really good for those dimly lit environments to get some productivity work done. The touchpad uses precision drivers, really good for two-finger scrolling, and Windows 10 gestures work as advertised. Overall, very good. The fingerprint scanner is located in the upper right-hand portion of the touchpad, and I'm not a big fan of the placement, although it did work very well, registering my finger pretty much every time I used it. Great for Windows 10 Hello login. Now, when it comes to performance, the Core i7-8550U, Intel's 8th generation processor, performed pretty well, as you'd expect it to perform. Now, it has 16 gigabytes of DDR3 memory. Kind of wish it was DDR4, but then again, they needed to watch the thermals on this device, which weren't good to begin with. We'll talk more about that in just a little bit. Now, this is geared towards a business person or a consumer who's looking for a productivity machine, not a dedicated gaming laptop, since this doesn't have a discrete graphics card. Having said that, you can do some light gaming, Windows Store gaming, and some mid-level titles with the settings lowered to its lowest settings. You could play some of those games. But then again, you're going to run into some thermal issues if you try to push this device too hard. As you can see from these thermal results, it does get quite hot, and that's not good. And when you stream a 15-minute HD video, I got some pretty high temperatures, especially on the bottom lower left. That's not great. Removing the screws from the bottom plate allows you to get inside this laptop, and removing that bottom plate shows you this only has one fan, and that may be the reason it's not doing great as far as thermals are concerned. It just doesn't have good heat dissipation, despite the fact that it does have that ErgoLift allowing more airflow, but nonetheless it still ran very warm and under load. Now, that fan does run very quiet, but that may be the reason why thermal throttles so easily, and I think the thermal issues on this device are something to be aware of, depending on what you're going to do with this device. Now, here you can see the 50 watt-hour battery along with the two bottom firing speakers. They actually sound pretty good. We'll check those out in just a moment. Now, the Wi-Fi card is built into the device, so you won't be able to change that out, nor can you change out the RAM. It's soldered on, but you can change the NVMe SSD, although you do get some very good reads and writes. Now, the speakers, as I stated, are located on the bottom portion of the device, and with that ErgoLift activated, it sounds actually pretty good. Let's hear them in action. Now, I've dinged Asus in the past for some really bad webcams, and this one is a little bit better. I'd say middle of the road, certainly not great, but definitely usable if you want to do Skype or any kind of video conferencing. But overall, I would say it's mediocre at best. Now, usually with a 4K display, we're not going to get great battery life, especially in a thin and light laptop, but this one is not too bad. I would say it's mediocre at best, but it does give you some of the better battery life I've seen on a 4K display on a 13-inch laptop. Now, as you can see here, it did 7 hours and 8 minutes on my continuous web surfing test over Wi-Fi at 150 nits. It didn't do quite as good as the Huawei MateBook X Pro, but that's to be expected. But certainly, it's definitely better than other 4K laptops I've seen in the past. Now you have a 65-watt charger in the box, and they do give you very fast charging with any of the 3 ports, by the way, so that's good. And it takes about 1 hour and 48 minutes to get a full charge. You're going to get about 80% in around 50 minutes or so. So to bring it all home, can I recommend the Asus ZenBook S? And the answer is yes, I can recommend it, although I do have a few reservations. Here's what I like. I love its gorgeous 4K UHD display. It is gorgeous. And I like its ErgoLift hinge, giving you a nice typing angle. I like the keyboard, I like the touchpad, good speakers, pen support of course, and pretty decent battery life for a 4K ultra portable. Now it does have a very quiet fan, although it does lead to thermal throttling issues. Heat dissipation is the issue with this laptop. Of course, it also is a major fingerprint magnet. It's very hard to keep clean, although when it is clean, it really is a sharp looking, stunning in fact, looking laptop. I like that royal blue with those gold accents. It really gives off a nice look. But if you're in the market for something with a 4K display, good productivity machine that also can double as a nice multimedia device, this may be your ticket. I'm going to give it a score of 81%, making the Asus ZenBook S UX391UA worth your money. So what do you think about the Asus ZenBook S UX391UA? Oh, that's a mouthful. Yes, it's a great laptop. I really like it. A 13.3-inch UHD 4K display. Absolutely gorgeous. It has pen support. It really is a very sharp display, rivaling that of the Infinity Edge display of the Dell XPS 139370. It ranks up among the best. Really very sharp. I like this blue and gold trim, although this is a major fingerprint magnet. As you can see, it is very hard to keep clean. But it's a very thin and light design, a very premium design, and the Core i7-8550U processor, it's an 8th generation processor, really has a lot to offer in this category. Thunderbolt 3 support is on board here. Obviously, that's a standard now for me as premium ultra portables go here in mid-2018. So I want to see more of that. But again, thin and light, gorgeous display, decent battery life, not great battery life, but pretty decent, not too terrible. I've seen worse. And even with a 4K display, I was seeing about 7 hours or so, which is pretty good for a thin and light device like this. What do you think of this ZenBook S? Is it something worth picking up? I think for the price, it's also a pretty good bargain. $14.99, you're getting a 4K display, you're getting the Core i7-8550U, 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigabytes of SSD storage. It's a fast storage, so really overall good specs, good performance, overall solid choice. But again, I want to know what you think. Let me know in that comment section below. So please hit the like button, please subscribe, please share this video. Don't forget to leave a comment in that comment section below. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if there's a device or something out there you think I should review. I'll do my best to try to make that happen. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, and of course my website, amdtechreviews.com. So until next time, this is Andrew from AMD Tech. See ya.